An Introduction to Chapter 7, Globalization.
What is globalization?
Globalization is the buzzword of our age and growing dangerously close to becoming a cliché. A fashionable big idea that seems to explain everything from global markets to the internet to terrorism and the success of J.K. Rowling's books. Before starting a discussion about globalization, it's important to define it properly so that it won't become confused with other concepts like liberalization, westernization, and internationalization. A fine working definition for globalization is a continuing process of integration between different economies, cultures, and societies, participating in a worldwide network driven by business, supranational institutions, and radically expanded communications and transport capabilities.
What is the essence of globalization?
Globalization is more than international economy, openness of borders, and free flow of capital and goods. Globalization is about increased integration and adapting to regulations, plus intensifying contacts. It's not only about trade agreements, but also includes the Paris Climate Accord and tax treaties, so that tax evasion and tax fraud can be combated. Further, global integration is about ambitions and takes place if supranational institutions like the WTO takes a less liberal course and takes the lead in new negotiations on fair trade where requirements are made on working conditions and the environment.
What are the characteristics of globalization today?
Compared to the past, economic cooperation worldwide has a deeper degree of integration. Companies thrive not only through foreign trade, but investment is also made in factories and sales channels. Foreign direct investment, or FDI, increases. Withdrawing FDI from a country is a much slower process than stopping trade. The deeper degree of integration is also reflected in the increasing number of international agreements. The influence of supranational public institutions is increasing. An example of this is the International Monetary Fund. Since the Second World War, the number of IMF member countries has increased, with today's representation reaching 95%. The same is true for the World Trade Organization. More countries are joining, with membership topping 82%. These institutions are at the center of a web of interdependencies.
Is deeper integration worldwide a positive development?
Increasing interdependencies worldwide have generally resulted in a positive effect. Measures taken by the IMF ensured that the effects of the 2008 financial crisis remain limited. The IMF increased and deployed its lending firepower and used its cross-country experience to offer policy solutions. In cooperation with central banks, capital injections were provided to keep the financial system intact. Globalization has also had a positive effect on the number of war victims. In the first decades after World War II, there were many more war casualties than now. Over the longer periods, there has been a steady decline. The yearly average for war victims before the 1990s was more than 400,000 per year. Now the yearly average is lower than 100,000. You can point to globalization when humanity works together to create more welfare and we become more dependent on each other. Welfare decreases dramatically when large-scale conflicts arise. Countries like the United States, China, and Russia avoid direct confrontation, and armed conflicts are more or less limited to the Syrian civil war, Yemen, and terrorism.